It's team of the season, guys, so head over to fifacoinsforsale.com and use my discount code GOONER to get yourself 6% off. What's up, guys? Gooners here, bringing you episode number 5 of Marco Van Basten's Venture to Victory, my Road to Glory series featuring the Dutch legend Marco Van Basten. So there's a quick look at the rules on the screen if you're unsure. So we picked up a couple of players and the most popular vote was Robin van Persie. He was easily the most popular striker from all the comments, so I put him in the squad and I've swapped him and Van Basten round as well. And also a popular comment to upgrade the squad at left mid was Depay, so I thought I would get involved and put him at left mid as well. And then I realised that, you know what, I've still got a bronze keeper, so I used some of the coins and picked up, you know, Stecklenburg there to add him into the squad. So of course, as always, we get ourselves a bonus pack, and I thought I'd see what we get in it, and we don't really get anything interesting. So guys, remember, make sure you follow me on Twitter if you want to get involved in the pink slips aspect of this Road to Glory. And of course, this is where we started off. This was the guy that won. You know, it's a guy called Jord DZV1. There you go. I'm not sure if I said that right, but anyway, he was the guy that won. This is the game that you're now going to see, the Pink Slips game. It was for 100k. And guys, remember, you've got to be following me on Twitter as well, you know, if you want to just get involved in any Pink Slips that I do as well. So that was a look at his team, and I thought, you know what, I'm pretty confident about how my team was going to play against it. And I was completely wrong about that. Literally, this was one of the worst games. My team felt handicapped. I couldn't really do anything. I think this was one of the best. Look at that. It wasn't even a good chance right there. You know, it's like a Salmon Van Persie. I was questioning him. Again, he's in on goal. And then Van Basten couldn't even put in the rebound. Literally, this game, I could not move. Got absolutely dominated throughout, you know. Just absolutely disappointing, didn't perform, and you know what, this was with 100k on the line. And then look at that, just making silly mistakes at the back, and you know, it was just one of those games. I'm sure you've all had one of those games where literally everything goes wrong, even right at the end in stoppage time. Another one, and it ends up that we turned out losing 4-0. It was just completely depressing, that game was. But congrats to Jordi V1, you know, you've got yourself 100k, well done. Thanks for dropping a comment below. Remember guys, it's always going to be someone that drops a comment, you know, on the episode when the Pink Slips is announced that's going to be picked. It's making sure that is someone who watches and enjoys the series that will be picked. And there you go. So that wasn't a great game, but I thought, you know what, I'm not happy with the way the side's playing. You know, I was thinking about changing formations, changing it up, mixing it up, but I thought I'd go back into the division and see. So this is the squad that we came up against there, and I didn't think, you know, I wasn't sure about how this squad would play, but it played a lot better this time. And Van Persie with the header, and it leads to Van Basten scoring. He stole Van Persie's goal off the line. What sort of captain is that? But you know, it's his series, so he wants to be the star of the show, but literally stealing it off the line. And then we have a banger from Van Persie there that comes off the post. Suddenly Van Persie looking like a completely different player, and then Van Basten's there through, leaves the defender for dead, and look at that finish there. We are back in business. 2 goals for Van Basten, you know, early on, and only 19 minutes in. This is the team that I was expecting to perform for the Pink Slips. Maybe, you know, the guy played was just absolutely amazing as Van Persie, you know, stings the palms of the goalkeeper again. Now Van Basten here with a nice pass into Schneider. He drives into the box, sees the defender come in, leaves him alone, the keeper commits himself, and we have an assist for Marco Van Basten there, and Schneider gets himself a goal, but he gets in behind. It's just disgraceful, that defending there. We're completely cruising as well. There's no need. But Marco Van Basten finds himself through on goal. Where is his defence? Where is it gone? And look at that. We get ourselves a hat-trick for the start of the show. So we are back in business. Things are back to normal as we go through with this. But as always, you come up against something like that, and look, there's a corner, and he gets himself a goal. So I don't even know how he's managed to score like 2 goals in this. He barely had any kicks all game. And then another header, and it's completely shocking right there. So you know, it's 90 minutes in, 4-3. And what do we have ourselves here? I know you guys have just scored a goal, but calm it down, guys. There's no need for that at all. So we decided to go up the other end. I was a bit annoyed at him like crossing it in, so I decided to do a cross of my own there. And right at the death, we get ourselves 5-3. We'll have a look at the stats as you can see, but that was a pretty decent game. We get ourselves a 17k bonus for Van Basten scoring, and also a 7.5k pack. As you can see, he gets himself the hat-trick, which is absolutely outstanding. So we move on now, and we have a look at the stats and the squad. So you know, Van Basten Basten got himself a 9.7 rating, which is fantastic as well. You know, playing him on the left hand side is better, you know, complements their strong foots, and as you can see, quite a few bonus points going on there. But the key thing is, this is it. Look at that, he had 8 shots, 7 on target, managed to score 3 goals, yet we completely dominated 17 and 13. You know, it shouldn't have been as close as the scoreline would suggest. The game played out a lot easier than that, and it's just one of those things. But we do get ourselves the win as we get ourselves 6 points into Division 9, getting closer to that promotion. So we have a look at his record now: 11 games, 17 goals and 2 assists from the Dutch legend that is Marco Van Basten there. You know, performing, that is what we want to see, apart from in the pink slips match was a bit horrendous. So here we go, guys, this is what's going to be your time to choose. We're going to upgrade the right midfielder. So what guy are we going to use to replace Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's nephew? You know, we need someone better there, so drop a comment below with who you think and the most popular guy will be chosen. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like below, comment, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.